At the beginning of the film, we are introduced to the main teenage characters. Davis is a lover of female attention and also a drug dealer. We see how he once again has fun with a girl while at the same time popping a white pill into his mouth. He was sent to a juvenile detention center for possession of narcotics with the intent to sell. The next character is Angel. We see how he tricks a passing car into stopping, while his partner in crime steals the vehicle. As a result, he was sent to a juvenile detention center for assault and car theft. The next hero is Butch. He had already been sent to the detention center before, and while there, he attacked his guard, gouging out his eyes. For this, he was sent back a second time. Correctional Officer Sens conducts their initial orientation, paying particular attention to Butch. The boys undergo a thorough inspection during intake and are then admitted to their confinement. Goodyear, a stern but fair guard, urges the new inmates to follow the rules and serve their sentences peacefully so they can earn a second chance at freedom. But things are not so simple. Already in the dining hall, Butch begins to draw special attention. An inmate named Banks is currently working in the dining hall, distributing food to the others. When it was Butch's turn to take his portion, Banks accidentally spilled hot food on his hand. Butch realizes that it is better not to get into trouble because his future in this place and his sentence depend on it. In the bathroom, Angel notices a tattoo on Davis's chest. Davis explains that it is dedicated to all the girls he has corrupted. Soon after, Lights Out is announced. Everyone takes their places, and the lights go out. In the morning, Goodyear arrives. The man enters the dormitory and wakes everyone up. In the corridor, the boys mop the floor. Angel is taken away, while Butch pays attention to the kitchen workers who then approach Davis. He becomes the next target of Banks and his group. The boys waited until he was left without the supervision of the guards and began to pressure him. Banks tried to provoke him, but Davis was not confrontational. Then the bully asked to try on Davis's shoes, and of course he had no intention of giving them back, since they were so comfortable. Davis had no choice but to remain silent and endure. Butch shirked work, and an officer pointed out his mistake. Continuing, he noticed how some boys upstairs were amusing themselves by making rain out of spit. When one drop landed on him, Butch flew into a rage. In the dining hall, we are shown the transfer of a forbidden powder, which is strictly prohibited here. At night, an attack was carried out on Butch. While he was sleeping, 3 inmates approached his bed and started beating him. One of the bullies accidentally landed a blow to Butch's face. If a guard were to notice the bruises, the boy would have to explain how they appeared. During the morning inspection, Goodyear saw the black eye on Butch and began questioning him. Realizing that the boy would not say anything, the guard threatened him with solitary confinement. But even this did not loosen his tongue. He knows if he snitches, he will have far bigger problems. We are then shown a scene of Banks during outdoor work. An adult approaches him and asks about his behavior. The bully's face immediately changes. He suddenly looks like an obedient boy. Most likely, this man is responsible for parole and for monitoring the lawful behavior of the inmates. The scene shifts to a conversation between Butch and Sens. The boy is warned that if he does not cooperate with the guards, things will become much harder for him. Once again, he is asked what happened. But even now, Butch does not reveal what was done to him that night. Because of this, he is sent to solitary confinement. Davis walks past the beds of Banks's group, and they immediately stop him. The bully once again tries to impress Davis with a friendly facade. He offers him friendship and, to seal the deal, gives Davis a dose of light substances. But they turned out to be nothing like what the inmate thought. While the poor guy lay in a dazed state, the trio drew all over his face and began intimidating him. Unable to bear the pressure, Davis began screaming while lying on his bed. He crawled out of the room, and Goodyear noticed him. The guard helped the boy sober up and placed him in solitary confinement for his own good. Soon, another drug trade takes place in the colony through people who come to visit the inmates. These drugs then spread throughout all the blocks of the detention center. Once again subjected to the bullying of 2 of Banks's thugs, Davis finally snapped and threatened one of them. At that moment, Butch and Angel were nearby. The third member of their group covered the surveillance camera with a jacket, while Butch fixed the nose of one of the bullies. Afterward, learning from them where Banks was, the boys went to him. Butch brutally beat the bully with a mug, thereby earning himself a high position in the colony and providing temporary protection for himself, Davis, and Angel. Goodyear enters the cell to question the boys about what happened, but they keep their mouths shut. Then, the officer starts provoking Banks. The guy manages to hold back and the officer leaves. On the way to class, Butch is told that someone wants to talk to him. During the psychological resilience classes, we see how racial hostility arises. A fight breaks out between two inmates of different races, and the guards have to step in to separate and calm them down. In the next moment, Butch goes into the laundry area and seizes packets of drugs from one of the inmates. This prisoner is a dealer, but Butch does not want drug trade to continue inside the colony. He takes away the stash. From this day on, everything will be done according to his rules. That night, Davis begins to draw attention. Many have already heard about his numerous escapades with women and ask him to share the details. Davis then tells a story involving his girlfriend's mother. One time, unable to have fun because his girlfriend was too tired, Davis went downstairs to the first floor of the house and lit up a joint. At that moment, her mother came home and started flirting with him, saying she was tired and heading to the bedroom. He picked up on the signal and went up to her. The story amused the inmates, and they all laughed and even began to respect Davis. The next morning in the gym, the boys are divided into teams for a game of dodgeball. Once the teams are ready, the coach gives the signal to start. The game begins, the boys enjoy themselves, and they let off steam. By the end, it is Butch against Davis. The latter's team cheers him on, boosting his morale. Davis makes a throw and knocks Butch out. Later in the laundry room, the group chats and has fun. They are then told that the warden is coming. Goodyear assigns them overtime work and takes Butch away. He is led into a meeting room where he is told details about the behavior of the inmates and what needs to be done to shorten his sentence. The man sitting across from him says that he has filed a petition for Butch's parole. It will not be withdrawn only if Butch manages to go 2 weeks without committing a single offense. In the dining hall, an incident occurs. The boy from whom Butch had taken drugs earlier is slashed across the face in front of everyone. This happens because the buyer never received the goods he had already paid for. The guards realize that drug trafficking is happening inside the colony, and they decide to inspect all the beds for contraband. Butch becomes noticeably nervous when they check his bed, because he still has the drugs he confiscated earlier, the very reason all this started. But everything turns out fine. Nothing is found. Goodyear tries to persuade Sens to give him time off because it is his child's birthday. His family has been planning for a long time how they would celebrate it. But Sens is unyielding and does not even want to discuss it. He refuses the day off, citing a shortage of guards in the colony. Goodyear then argues heatedly with his wife over the phone. Nearby, Butch and Angel are doing some painting work. Goodyear notices what they have drawn on the wall and decides to take out his anger on Angel. During the scuffle, the guard throws the boy against the wall and he hits the back of his head on a pipe, sustaining a serious injury. Sens and the other guards rush over, and Butch is taken away to solitary confinement pending investigation. Shocked and shaken, Goodyear is unable to utter a single word about what happened. The boy is taken to the hospital, but unfortunately, after a short time, he passes away. Without Butch's protection, Davis once again became a target of Banks's group. While in the laundry block, 2 bullies came up to him and humiliated the boy. That night, Davis asked a guard for a phone so that he could call his mother. He was suffering from severe psychological trauma after everything that had happened, but the guards did not give him the phone and instead sent him to sleep. Feeling lonely and unable to cope, Davis could not handle it. In the morning, his body was found with his wrists slit. The deaths of Angel and Davis lead to an uprising in the colony. At breakfast, all of the inmates announced a hunger strike. When Sens entered the room, everyone simultaneously began to chant the word dead, pounding on the tables with their hands. The inmates realized that in this colony they were not safe, because the guards could not protect them or prevent deaths. Butch notices one of the bullies looking uneasy and understands that he is the one who pushed Davis to commit suicide. Butch grabs a chair and throws it against the wall, giving the signal to start the riot. Chaos erupts in the cafeteria. Everyone is fighting, throwing tables and chairs. The boys begin beating the guards, and when the guards realize they cannot handle the uprising, they return in full riot gear. Helmets, tear gas canisters, batons, and weapons loaded with plastic bullets. At this moment, Butch begins mercilessly beating the bully he had noticed earlier. The guards release gas into the cafeteria, causing many to suffocate and collapse. One of Butch's companions drags him into a storage room and tells him that while everyone is caught up in the chaos, he has time to escape. Without thinking twice, Butch smashes the door open and makes his way to the fence, which he could easily climb over. But at that moment, he decides to pause for a second and savor his impending freedom. Just then, several guards run out behind him and break his leg. The film ends with Butch screaming in rage as he is dragged back through the door. That is how the movie ends. Thank you for watching.